And with best wishes from astronaut Michael Hopkins, we'll be standing by to come out of the plan built-in hold, not working any issues in the countdown. We'll have our launch conductor Doug LeBeau from United Launch Alliance polling his launch team.
Spacecraft to internal power.
Roger.
LC switch to ready position. All steps are complete prior to the status check.
Once we have liftoff, we'll be hearing United Launch Alliance Atlas V telemetry manager Rob Gannon providing the flight ascent calls for the Atlas as it moves into space. We'll get the final go for Atlas readiness and Centaur readiness at T-minus 25 seconds.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas systems, propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
Water.
Go.
Centaur systems, propulsion.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Has gas.
Go.
Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
Instrumentation.
Go.
COM.
Go.
Timer.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Redline monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Range coordinator.
Clear to proceed.
Launch director.
Launch vehicles ready to launch.
Proceeding with the count. T0 is planned for 18:28 Zulu. Set count to start at 18:24 Zulu.
Roger. T0 is set for 18:28 Zulu. Count will start at 18:24 Zulu.
And we've just had a go for launch from Maven Spacecraft Mission Director and Project Manager David Mitchell. Once we're at T-minus 1 minute 55 seconds, the automatic sequencer will take over the automated control of the countdown from that point to liftoff. The RD-180 engines will ignite about 3.8 seconds before liftoff.
Spacecraft on internal power.
Roger. All steps are complete prior to terminal count.
Picking up the count in 30 seconds.
On my mark, time will be T-minus 4 minutes and counting. 3, 2, 1, mark. T-minus 4 minutes and counting.
3:55. Ground power was enabled.
T-minus 3.5 minutes.
Three minutes.
Securing LO2 topping.
Atlas tanks to flight pressure. 250. FTS internal.
T-minus 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Two minutes.
Vehicle power internal.
Launch sequencer start. 150.
Securing Centaur LH2.
Securing Centaur LO2.
140.
Launch enabled.
FTS armed.
T-minus 90 seconds.
120.
Orca's armed.
FCS count started.
$110.
Vent valves lock.
1 minute.
Rock, report range status.
Range green.
Standing by for final Atlas and Centaur go.
40.
Stable at step 3.
$25.
Status check.
Go Atlas.
Go Centaur.
Go Maven.
20. $15.
T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Main engine start, ignition, and liftoff of the Atlas V with Maven, looking for clues about the evolution of Mars through its atmosphere.
Control. Mark. Everything looking good. Still at 100% rated thrust on the RD-180. Vehicle rates are looking good. We do have roll program in, right as expected. We are actively controlling mixture ratio. Valve position looks good. Thrust regulator valve position looks good. Speeds are good. And vehicle's operating as expected. Continue down the center of the range track. Everything is looking good. We're now 1.6 nautical miles of altitude, 1.1 miles downrange, traveling at a little over 1,000 miles per hour. And we have ended our roll programs. Everything is looking good, continuing at 100% thrust. And we are now passing through the sound barrier. Maven is now supersonic. RD-180 continues to operate at 100% rated thrust. We are about to pass through max Q. And vehicles passing through max Q. Rates look good. Engine continues to operate at 100%, and we have throttled down to 95% thrust, right on time. And we're now 10 nautical miles in altitude, 7.4 miles downrange, traveling at 2,200 miles per hour. And everything is looking good, continue to operate at 95% thrust. Coming up on our next mark event, I expect to enable Q alpha steering. And steering's enabled. Body rates look as expected for bringing in steering. Vehicle is now 50% of its liftoff weight. And we're about to fire the pyro valves to activate the second stage reaction control system. Pyro valves have fired. System has pressurized, and the RD-180 continues to operate as expected at 100% rated thrust, or 95% rated thrust, correction. Rates are looking good. Continue to accelerate, passing through 3 Gs. PU control looks good. And continue to fly right down the center of the range track. We are now 35 miles in altitude, 70 miles downrange at 6,000 miles per hour. Reaction control system is now fully pressurized. And continuing to operate at 95%. Good PU control. Smooth body rates. Continue to have nominal acceleration. Vehicle is now 25% of its liftoff weight. We are now throttling the engine to actively control at 5 Gs. We have started boost phase chill down. Housing temps are reacting as expected. Continue to operate the RD-180 as expected. We are now flying a 4.6 G throttle profile. Engine is throttling, getting ready for booster engine cutoff. We have BECO coming up on staging. We have stage separation. Everything is looking good. We have pre-start on fuel and locks. Everything's looking at ignition, full thrust. Centaur main engine is up at 100% rated thrust, coming up on fairing separation. We have fairing set. And rates look good for fairing separation. Should be cutting back in on closed loop control. And we've done purge firings in the reaction control system as expected. We do have closed loop control reestablished after fairing jettison. The RL-10 continues to operate as expected, nice and smooth. PU is in open loop control as expected. Axial acceleration is steady. We are now 107 miles in altitude, 426 miles downrange, traveling at 11,700 miles per hour. Vehicle is continuing right down the center of the range track. Everything looking good. We are seeing our expected thruster, reaction control thruster, thermal maintenance firings. Body rates are nice and smooth. Everything is continuing to look good. Engine operating parameters are good. We are now in the process of executing a 9-minute, 30-second first burn of Centaur. Everything is looking good. We have closed loop control on the PU system a little over 20 seconds ago. That transition looks as expected. Continuing to operate at a LOX-rich mixture ratio. We have now begun our roll to TDRS attitude. Our delta PE for boost phase or preliminary look gives us 78 pounds of delta PE. That's 1 sigma high to our nominal rate. We had format change. And continuing to get clean data. Engines continue to operate as expected. Then we see our expected activity on the reaction control thrusters. 152 miles in altitude, 826 miles downrange, traveling at 12,500 miles per hour. And PU continues to operate on the lock stop. That's as expected for this time in flight. We are seeing some noise in telemetry at this time, but enough data is coming through. We're seeing steady operating pressure levels on the RL-10. Everything is looking good. And I continue to see the mass error signal correct itself as expected. Engine pressures are nice and smooth. Accelerating smoothly, a little over half a G at this time. And we're seeing all of our reaction control system temperatures come together as we condition the system. Everything looking good. And PU's continuing on lock stop. Everything looking good. Here you see our expected thruster firings. Very little roll control has been needed. Passing through 9 minutes into the mission, everything looking good. RL-10 is operating nominally. Seeing smooth body rates.
Have loss of contact here at the Cape in communications. Antigua is now providing data.
Engine operating normally. Everything looking good. Steady acceleration at 0.56 Gs, right down the center of the range track. 168 miles in altitude, 1,400 miles downrange, traveling at 14,000 miles per hour. Everything is looking good. Operating parameters on the engine, very steady, nice and smooth. We are seeing oxidizer error in the PU system control coming towards nominal. The valve has come off the stop. Seeing active control of the PU valve now on the RL-10. Vehicle continues to burn normally. And since we have launched at the beginning of the window, we are expecting our spacecraft separation time right at 52 minutes, 42 seconds into the mission. And continuing to see active control, Centaur PU. Engine pressures are reacting as expected to the change in mixture ratio. Smooth body rates. Nominal performance down the range track. We are inside of 3 minutes to MECO 1. PU controls coming up near the nominal mixture ratio. Engine continues to operate as expected, seeing the normal small adjustments in engine pressures as the PU valve slews. Our PU settle. Rates are good. Pressures are good. RCS activity is right as expected. Very little roll control is being required out of the reaction control system. Engine is burning normally. We are now inside of 2 minutes to MECO 1. Maven is continuing to fly normally. Once we complete this burn of Centaur, first burn of Centaur, we will enter a 27-minute, 36-second coast phase, followed by a second burn and then spacecraft separation. Continuing to look at very good telemetry data. Engine is good, rates are good. As noted before, seeing normal activity in the control system with very little roll control needed. PU is now operating near nominal mixture ratio. Everything is looking normal on the vehicle. And we're approaching 30 seconds to MECO 1. Coming up on MECO 1, vehicle's looking good. 10 seconds to a expected MECO 1 time. Open loop on PU, Locked. And MECO, we have cutoff. Cutoff time right as expected. Everything looks good. 4S settling thrusters are on. And we are beginning to reorient to our PTC attitude and starting our PTC roll. And we are actively controlling pressure in the tank by controlling our vent valve locking. Everything looks good there. Now climbing into our PTC roll rate of 1.5 degrees per second, and we have now achieved that rate. Continuing to see settling as expected.
And our nominal orbit right now during the coast phase is 87 nautical miles by 170 nautical miles. Coming up, losing our data through Antigua and acquisition through the TDRS East tracking and data relay satellite.
Good bus voltages. Plenty of pressure in our Centaur helium bottle. Continuing to see our PTC roll. Very clean data. We're seeing minor dropouts as the vehicle's rolling as expected. But we recover and continue to see good data.
While we're in the coast phase, we're going to be looking at some launch replays from the ground.
And we have had a vent valve cycle. Center hydrogen tank, pressure's dropped as expected. Bus battery voltages look good, helium storage looks good. Vehicle's going to roll and reorient itself as expected. Very clean, active autopilot control. Can we see our expected reaction control system activity? And continuing with 4S settling. Next event we'll see is starting to ramp our settling down to a 12.5% duty cycle. It'll kick in approximately a little over 30 seconds from now. Currently have a telemetry dropout, and we've recovered telemetry. Didn't see normal coast phase performance. And we've begun our ramping of Centaur settling down to a 12.5% duty cycle. Bus battery voltage is good. Helium storage looks good. Next event we're looking for is securing our C-band transponder. And we have secured the transponder within a couple seconds of nominal. And we've in the process of executing a PTC roll reversal. And we're now steadying out. Telemetry dropout in progress now. Nothing unexpected for this time of flight. And we can see with the recovery of data that we have achieved our roll reversal. Now settled out at a minus 1.5 degree per second roll rate. And next mark for approximately 6 minutes from now is our next mark event we are looking for is duct flush on Centaur. It's just around 5 minutes from now. Vehicle continuing in normal coast phase. Pitch and yaw rates are steady, right around 0 degrees per second as expected, and we're at the minus 1.5 degree per second roll rate. Bus battery voltages are good. Tank pressures, helium storage pressure is looking good. And reaction control system activities as expected this time in flight. And we're in the middle portion of our 27.5-minute coast phase. Continuing to look good. Centaur pressures and voltages are looking good. Rates are smooth, right as expected. As noted before, we will be executing a second burn of Centaur. Duration of that is 5.5 minutes. Following that, we will have a 5-minute, 49-second coast phase to a spacecraft separation, 52 minutes, 42 seconds mission elapsed time. Centauri and Maven continue to coast nominally. Coming up on 1500 seconds. Mission elapsed time. Bus battery voltages look good. Reaction control system firings look good. Body rates look good. Everything looks normal. We're now 1 minute to our duct flush expected time. Vehicle parameters are normal. "30 seconds to the duct flush. And we're executing our duct flush. Everything looks good. Inlet pressure shows we have closed the valve. Sequence timing was as expected. Continue to see expected performance, good bus battery voltages, good tank and helium storage bottle pressures. Rates are smooth.